Okay, welcome everyone to another edition of Talk on STEM Careers. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Adelaide Osabute, and I'll be your host for today's STEM interactive discussion. I am one of the representatives of Tilling Foundation. And at Tilling Foundation, our main objective is to mentor and coach the younger ones about the various careers in STEM and also encourage them to pursue careers in STEM. Currently, we are live on Facebook and on Zoom. So in case you are joining us from Zoom, kindly mute your page. Okay, today we are going to have an interaction with an industrial hygienist who is going to take us through the career advantage and advantage in occupational health and industrial hygiene. So let's stay tuned as I welcome Mr. Steve Gyan to the platform. Mr. Gyan, you are welcome to our page. We are privileged to have you with us today.
Thank you very much, Adelaide, for organizing such a session. I'm quite excited to engage with the Team Foundation and then on the discussion of career advantages in occupational and industrial hygiene.
Okay. For the benefit of our viewers and the younger ones out there, could you please tell us about yourself, your education, your hometown, and your profession?
Okay, my name is Steve Gyan, as you rightly mentioned. I'm a certified industrial hygienist, a registered occupational hygienist, and a certified safety profession. I'm coming from Axim, and I started my senior high school with Inside Secondary School, and through to University of Cape Coast, where I did my biological science. Then did a postgraduate in occupational health and safety with GIMPA. Then I wrapped it up with a MSc in quality management with the University of West Scotland. Currently, I'm working as an occupational hygiene manager for Gulfos Ghana Limited, and I'm also a consultant. I have a family of 3, and I'm married to my wife is a nurse, so the health is in our blood, you know.
Okay. All right. Lovely viewers out there. If you've not liked or subscribed to our page, kindly do that on LinkedIn and on Facebook and YouTube. If you have any question, please drop them in the comments section in Facebook or on LinkedIn, and on Zoom in the chat box, or give us a wave on Zoom, and then we will let you in to ask your question. Okay, Mr. Gyan, let's go back to your younger self. What influenced you to study biological science in the first place, and what motivated or inspired you and kept you going amid the challenges in the university?
Actually, I have a love for science, and my interest in science is let me say, very exceptional. So during my high school, science was something that I have so much interest in, especially in regards to the study of biology. So when I got admission to the university, all what I had in mind was to go in for a science-related course. So I could say my interest in science program actually motivated and influenced my selection of biological science studies. Those years in uni, with regards to University of Cape Coast, we had just the biological science. We didn't have most of the courses that are being run at this moment. So it's either you study botany or you study zoology, you know. So with my interest in biology, I decided to opt for the biological science to be able to study both components of the biological science program. So I think that my motivation was my love for science. That actually influenced my decision. In terms of the challenges, it was just the normal challenges that every student goes through. Looking at where I started pursuing the program, even though it wasn't one of the high-level schools in Ghana, we didn't have a lot of resources at our laboratory to be able to learn a lot. But at the nutshell, we're able to complete the program successfully. So the challenge has to do with the resources and the school location, you know, and the level of the school that you attended. But that challenges didn't actually kill the dreams, you know. We were able to overcome all these challenges and made it up to our first degree.
Okay, thank you. Okay, from your introduction and your profile, you studied biological science. So I want to know, why did you change your path to quality management, and how did you end up as an industrial hygienist?
I think it all started when I started doing my service. When I was doing my service, I was working with the environmental department. That was the first time that I heard of health and safety. So that drew my attention that if there is a field called health and safety, then I better do a bit of research to understand what the health and safety profession entails. So doing my research, I realized that it's an area that is a gray area. I mean, health and safety is a gray area. Environment has made a lot of milestone in the country through EPA, but health and safety was an area that is gradually coming up. So I reckon that, look, if I should develop my interest there and prepare myself for any job opportunities, it might add a lot of value in my professional career. So I took up my first course in postgraduate certification in occupational health and safety, occupational health, safety and environmental management. And patiently I was waiting. I mean, when I took the course, it took 3 years before there was a breakthrough for me to get opportunity to move from environmental into the health and safety. And that breakthrough came when we had an occupational hygienist for the company who resigned. The position was there for over 9 months. But because I had a postgraduate certificate in occupational health, safety, and environmental management, I think I was very successful in the interview. So that moved me from my environment to health and safety. So when I moved to the occupational hygienist position, I realized that, look, I haven't gotten the requisite knowledge and experience to work as an occupational hygienist. So what I did was to start studies and start researching some of the courses that I can do to build up my career there. So fortunately for me, I started my studies with the University of South Africa. I went to South Africa in 2010, did some studies, came back, left to US in 2011 to do some industrial hygiene studies, came back and went to UK in 2012. So between 2012 and 2015, I was moving around in UK and Ghana to be able to complete my models. So as soon as I completed my models, I did my certification exams and I was successful. In 2016, I was awarded as the first African to be certified. So that is how I moved from the biological science to the occupational health. So as soon as I got to the occupational health and hygiene, I went through it to the time I became certified. Now I was asking myself, if you go to a lot of companies, they run health and safety. Now I'm a guru and an expert in health. Then let me try and work on safety. So fortunately, I think this year I did my certified safety professional to become the fourth person in Ghana to be awarded with that certification. So I realized that when you come to health, safety, and environment, I have a bit of environment, I have a bit of safety, I have a bit of health. Then I asked myself, you can't do this without quality, because we are looking at continual improvement. We are looking at quality management. It's something that is coming up. So most of the companies are running shake, maybe safety, health, environment, and quality. Some are running health, safety, environment, and quality. So I reckon that if I should do my MSc in quality, at least I'll actually be a force to reckon with. At least I'll be able to have a bit of knowledge across all the fields. So basically, that is how the transition process went through, from environment, from biological to occupational health, and later did the safety, and later did the quality management.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, I want to know, who is an industrial hygienist?
When we say industrial hygienist is a professional that makes sure that workers' health are protected. So all what you have to do is to make sure that the health of the workers are protected. So industrial hygienist role is different from safety. We have safety and we have industrial hygiene. So all what we intend to do is to make sure that whoever is working, anybody that we call a worker, okay, it's our responsibility to make sure that that worker, whatever job that he's doing, he doesn't suffer from any occupational related diseases, either in the short term or the medium term throughout his working life. So basically that's what we do. But we do that by assessing and controlling health hazards in the workplace. So all the work that we do, there are health hazards associated with them. So we have to make sure that we have assessed the health hazards. We have controlled the health hazards so that people who are working will not be exposed to any health hazard likely to result in any work-related disease and illness. So basically, that's what we do. So maybe we can say we are the workers' doctors. We try as much as possible to make sure that nobody gets sick. If somebody gets sick, you have to come and hold us responsible. That is it. So basically, that is the rule, what an industrial hygienist is: protect the health of the workers.
Okay, thank you. If I heard you well, you said you are a certified industrial hygienist and a safety professional, and also
Yes.
a registered occupational hygienist, right?
Yes.
Okay. So how are these certificates and your degree from your school connected to your current occupation or your current role?
Okay, so if you look at that, for you to pursue the occupational health or for you to pursue occupational hygiene, you need to have a science background. A science background is one of the fundamental requirements for you to pursue industrial hygiene or occupational health. So the link between my degrees, my profession speaks for itself. Because I did a biological science, which is a science-related discipline, it makes it very easy for me to be able to pursue the industrial hygiene profession. So there was a link because the industrial hygiene itself is a science on its own. So normally anybody with a science-related background will be allowed to pursue that. It's a basic requirement. So I think the course that I did at uni, which was biological science, actually helped me in pursuing or getting the nod to pursue the industrial hygiene program.
Okay. So as an industrial hygienist, What is your job routine on a typical day at work?
On a typical day, what you need to do is that you need to understand the task and the work of every employee or every worker. So whoever is working in an organization, you must be able to understand his job, his tasks, and what the person does when he comes to work and when he closes from work. So the time he closes from work. Without you understanding the work, the tasks, or the activity they perform, it will be very difficult for you to protect the health of the worker. So let's take it for instance. Let's bring it down. Maybe in an organization, you have somebody who is a geologist, you have somebody who is a accountant, you have someone who is an HR officer, you have somebody who is an engineer, you have somebody who is a welder, electrician, mechanic. All of them, whatever they do actually exposes them to certain health hazards. So what we do on a typical day is to understand if an electrician comes to work, where does he work? The environment that he works, the materials that he used to work with, the tools that he used to work with, and every job that he does. Now you should be able to identify what are some of the health hazards pertaining to the area that he's working that can affect his health. The tools and the materials he's working with, or chemicals that he's working with, is there any potential for the person to suffer from any work-related disease or illness? Whatever he is going to do the work, is it likely that he might suffer from this condition? So what you do is to be able to assess the workers' activities, the environment, the processes that they go through, to be able to fish out anything that can affect their health. And when you have been able to identify the key things that can affect their health, which are the health hazard, then you put in controls. So the controls that you put in, or the control measures that you put in, will mitigate the risk, or will reduce the risk, or will prevent the person from prevent the person from suffering any work-related disease. So basically, that is the nature of the job. You do your assessment. When you do your assessment, you engage the person. You talk to the person about the health hazards. You talk to the person about how he or she can protect himself. You recommend controls. You check effectiveness of controls. So basically, in terms of the routine job, all what you have to do is to risk assess areas, processes, activities, and occupations, and make sure that you have implement controls that will prevent them from any unforeseen work-related illnesses or diseases.
Okay, thank you. That's wonderful. So once again, lovely viewers, if you have any question, please drop them in the comment section on Facebook, and on Zoom, you drop them in the chat box. Also, you can give us a wave and then we will let you in to ask your question. Okay, so we are moving to occupational health and industrial hygiene as a focus for today's discussion. Mr. Gyan, what is occupational health and industrial hygiene about? And is there any difference between them?
Okay, so occupational health is about protecting and treatment of job-related illnesses and diseases. So that is occupational health in its own. So simply put, it's a treatment, it's a prevention or protecting and treatment of work-related disease and illness. That is occupational health. If you come to occupational hygiene is a branch of science that deals with anticipation, identification, evaluation, and control of health hazards. So when it comes to occupational health, there are two components in occupational health. There is one component which is occupational medicine, and there's another component which is occupational hygiene. So the occupational hygiene is, let's say, is embedded in occupational health. So the occupational medicine are normally the doctors who have done occupational medicine. Please, we have general medicine and we have occupational medicine. It used to be an industrial medicine or preventive medicine. So if a doctor go and do a 7-year medicine, he's not an occupational medical practitioner. You can do your medicine. After that, you can go and do your 2 years occupational medicine or industrial medicine. So occupational health, you need to get a medical doctor who has done occupational medicine. So he will be at the hospital, and what he'll be doing is that he'll be looking at the health of the workers when they come. Now, the doctor must also understand what is happening at the work environment of the workers. Because he's at the hospital, he doesn't know what is happening at the work environment of the workers. He only gets to see the workers when they come to the hospital. So that is where the occupational hygiene comes in. So occupational hygiene and occupational medicine, they work together to ensure that the workers' health are protected and managed. So all the time, when you go to a company or an institution with occupational health setup, you see that they will have an occupational health medical center and they'll have occupational hygiene. And the hygiene and the medicine people needs to work together to ensure that the workers' health are protected. Simply, let me put it this way. Let's take it for instance that a worker goes to the hospital and he has a problem with his lungs. He has a respiratory condition. The doctor there will have to give the information to the hygiene people that, look, this person is suffering from a respiratory disease. Make sure that wherever he's working, there are no exposure to dust there. That doctor will not come to the work there to do it. He will relay the information to the industrial hygienist. The industrial hygienist will make sure that before the worker comes back to work, conditions or measures have been implemented to make sure that his condition will not be aggravated or his condition will not be worsened. If an industrial hygienist finds something at the workplace, he can also relate it to the doctor that, look, these people are exposed to this thing, which can hardly result in probably a kidney damage or liver damage. So when they come to the hospital, do this screening for them. So in a way, it's like a two-way affair. This one communicates here, this one communicates here to make sure that the health of the worker is protected. So basically, that is what the occupational health is all about. You need to get that two component to be able to run it effectively. Now, when it comes to occupational hygiene, as I said, it's about anticipation, identification, evaluation, and control of hazards. So let's take it for instance that there is somebody there who is working with a chemical. An industrial hygienist will sit back and say, what is this guy doing? I can see that this guy is working with some chemicals. He can't just straight away say, hey, this guy is going to die or something is going to happen to the person. So rather, he will anticipate it that probably this guy might be exposed to this chemical, but he will go there and identify what type of chemical is the person working with. Okay, so he goes there and see the type of chemical he's working with and says, okay, fine. You working with the chemical doesn't mean that straight away you are going to die. He has to evaluate it or quantify the concentration of the chemicals that the person might inhale or it might get to the person's body. That is where the evaluation comes in. So he will quantify it or you will evaluate it with instruments and do a lab analysis. And when he has gotten the concentration at which the person is exposed to, then you can say, hey, this is a high risk or a low risk or medium risk. If it's a high risk, let me put in control to make sure that whatever the guy is inhaling into his system might not cause any illness or disease. So basically, that is how the industrial hygiene works entails. So that is so if you look at industrial hygiene, it's more like a preventive aspect. You pick up the issue, you evaluate the issue, and you control the issue so that nobody gets any work-related diseases. When it comes to occupational health, even if you get any medical condition, you are supposed to make sure that you are being managed so that your condition doesn't get worse, your condition doesn't deteriorate, or if there are certain medical screening that you need to do, you provide the medical team with the relevant information to do the screening. So you can't run occupational health without occupational hygiene. Other than that, the doctor will be sitting at the hospital looking at the workers and might not know what is happening at the workplace. So basically, that is how the hygiene and the health actually runs.
Okay, thank you very much. That was a great explanation. Um, for the younger ones out there and our viewers who would like to pursue career in occupational health and industrial hygiene, what are some of the job opportunities in the career and how can Ghana benefit from it?
In terms of job opportunities, in our part of the world here, the jobs with respect to occ health and industrial hygiene is a bit limited. But in the other outside world, the opportunities are there in millions because the industrial hygienists that we have in the world, we are not even up to 7,000. Certified industrial hygienists are not even up to 7,000. And when I was giving the introduction, I also made mention that in 2016, I was the first certified industrial hygienist in Africa. So it tells you that when it comes to occupational industrial hygienists and occupational health physicians, we don't have much in the country. I can think of about 4 to 5 occupational medical physicians in Ghana who are doctors, who are medical practitioners, occupational medical practitioners. So it's an area that we have shortage of expertise there. And if you have a shortage of expertise in such areas, it's an opportunity for people who want to go there because day in and day out, Ghana is developing. Those years, health and safety wasn't a key in our industries. Now we have a lot of safety officers. We have a lot of safety officers, but we don't have a lot of industrial hygienists. Every company is running health and safety, health and safety. The safety people will do their own, but the health belongs to the industrial hygiene. So it will come to a time that you will need a lot of industrial hygienists in the country. Currently, we do have a lot of companies who are running industrial hygiene program and occupational health program. So people who wants to go into the industrial hygiene or occupational health, there is a bright future for them. But the more we grow in, the more we are looking at getting such professions in the country. Besides that, Ghana is looking at, we have drafted an occupational health law, and very soon it needs to be passed by Parliament. So we anticipate that if the law is passed in Parliament, it will compel a lot of institutions and companies to make sure that they run an occupational health program. The point is that how ready are the young people? Should there be opportunities? How ready are they? If you look at the mining industry is booming. If you look at oil and gas industry is booming. You look at beverages, you look at plastic industry, you look at paint industry, every industry that people are working there, you need industrial hygienists. Because what we do is that we want to make sure that we protect the health of the people. So whether hospitals, whether laboratory, anywhere that people are working, you need the services of industrial hygienists. So that tells you that as soon as Ghana gets to a level where such laws are passed in the country, industrial hygienists will be scarcity. The question is, how do people prepare to, just as I told you, when I had the interest, it took me 3 years before I got a breakthrough. So how are people ready to wait? I did a course and I was sitting by the, hey, when will I get opportunity to do it? It took me 3 years. Then gradually I went through it and I am who I am. And currently, if I look at my affiliation right now, I'm a member of the ICMM, International Council of Mining and Metals Working Group. I am a faculty member of British Occupational Hygiene Society. I'm ambassador for American Industrial Hygiene Association International Affairs Committee. I'm a member of Mine Ventilation Society of South Africa. There's a whole lot of affiliation that I belong to. We are all helping to promote occupational health in Africa, per se, and in Ghana as well. So if I didn't prepare myself, I would have missed that opportunity. So if the young ones, if you really want to go into occupational health and hygiene, there is a bright future. There is a bright future. But what you have to do is to make sure that you do what? You prepare yourself by engaging in research, developing the interest, try to get some e-learning programs in industrial hygiene to pursue and all those things. So that when the opportunity comes, it's easy for you to grab it. So I think the future is bright. So far as that people are working and we are not going to stop people from working, the future is always bright. The future is always bright there.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr.
I
Gyan.
see some
Okay, yeah,
questions.
there is a question on
Okay.
Zoom. Yeah,
Yeah,
he said,
can we answer that for the person? What was the question?
he said, can someone who has no science background pursue occupational hygiene to become an industrial hygienist?
Okay, so as I said, if you look at the basic requirement for industrial hygiene, it has to do with science. You have to get any of the science discipline. If you've done any science discipline, you should be able to go through it. Probably what the person can do is that if the person is able to enroll in some of the courses, because if you look at the eligibility criteria, you need to be able to complete certain contact hours in industrial hygiene. Probably, I haven't seen anybody who have used that aspect, but I'm very sure that it will work. If you're able to do more online courses and e-learning in industrial hygiene, it might give you that opportunity to continue your professional career in industrial hygiene. It's very possible. But you can't just go from arts or from business straight to the industrial hygiene. Probably you need to do some courses and before you be able to go into that field.
Okay, yeah. There is another question from Vivian. I would like to know whether a radiation protection officer falls under industrial hygiene or occupational health.
Okay,
If
so
not, how different is that from your field?
if the industrial hygiene and occupational hygiene is just a terminology. If you go to US, we use industrial hygiene. If you go to UK, they use occupational hygiene. If you go to Australia, they use occupational hygiene. If you go to some of the Europe, they use industrial hygiene. So industrial hygiene and occupational hygiene are basically the same, but just the change of terminology. The only thing that is different is occupational health. If you look at a radiation falls under the scope of an industrial hygiene or occupational hygiene. It's one of the physical hazards. So in industrial hygiene, what we do is that we have to assess ionization radiation and non-ionization radiation because people are working in areas that they are exposed to ionization radiation, which can result in work-related illness. The same thing that people are also working at areas where they are exposed to non-ionization radiation, frequencies, microwaves, and all those things. It also falls within the scope of industrial hygiene. So somebody who is a radiation officer can as well pursue, if he has a science background, can as well pursue the industrial hygiene program. So it's possible for a radiation officer to, because radiation falls within the scope of industrial hygiene or occupational hygiene. It's one of the physical hazards that we do assess all the time.
Okay, all right, wonderful, thank you. You said it's hard to get job opportunities in Ghana. So I want to ask if there are any Ghanaian universities that study industrial hygiene, and I want to know if, do you think it's good to study industrial hygiene in Ghanaian universities?
It's good to study industrial hygiene in Ghanaian universities, but unfortunately, we don't have universities that are running degrees in industrial hygiene. One of the things that could have helped is that most of the universities, some of them are running courses in safety engineering and all those things, but they are not looking at the health component of it.
Oh,
so
okay.
That is where, as a country, we are running short there. And so I think it's going to be helpful if universities can look at running industrial hygiene program or probably occupational health program, because most of the companies in Ghana, and almost all the multinational companies and probably the local companies, majority of them are running health and safety. You see health and safety officers all over. You see people going to do a short course in health and safety. People doing short courses here, short courses here, short courses here. So people are now understanding the need for health and safety in the working environment. But they are not actually redirecting the focus to industrial hygiene, forgetting that the health and safety that we are all practicing in our organization, there's an element of industrial hygiene that is missing. And for me, I can also say that because we don't have a lot of industrial hygienists around, companies too are also finding it difficult to get industrial hygienists to come and work for them. So it's a high time we run some of these courses in our university so that people can pursue it and they'll be ready for the job market. Because right now, if recently, was it last 2 months, Newmont was looking for industrial hygienists at its end there. Okay, and people that I know that they were doing a bit of hygiene thing, I told them to apply because Newmont was looking for industrial hygienists. Talo Oil have industrial hygienists, Obuasi have, Kinross have. So a lot of companies are now beginning to understand that, look, there is a need for us to protect the health of the workers. And nowadays too, workers are becoming knowledgeable. Now workers are becoming knowledgeable in the sense that they've also realized that there's something we call workman compensation. They're also smart. You know that because in our company, if somebody picks up any work-related diseases, you need to pay the person 72 months salary, over 5 years salary as a compensation. So you could just imagine. So now people are beginning to understand. And anytime that a worker and a company goes to court, the judge will always tell the company, why don't you pay this poor person? This person has worked for you and he has picked up a condition and you want to cheat him. So most of the times, companies are losing cases in court because it was their responsibility to protect the health of the workers. So gradually, people are understanding that, look, wherever that I work, there might be some health hazards that can affect my health, either in the short term or medium term or long term. And therefore, it is the responsibility of the companies to protect its workers. So as I was saying, it will come to a time that a lot of companies, in order for them to prevent legal actions, in order for them to prevent payment of compensations and all those things, they will need the services of industrial hygienists to be able to prevent their workers from contracting work-related diseases and illness. So there's a bright future. There's a bright future, but we just have to prepare ourselves to be able to accept such challenges when it comes. Yeah.
Okay, we have to prepare ourselves. Thank you. Okay, as an industrial hygienist and an intelligent person in the field, what advice will you give to the viewers and the younger ones out there who are thinking to pursue career in industrial hygiene and occupational hygiene?
I think that the young out there, what I would say is there is a huge opportunities. There's a huge job opportunities in the field of occupational health and industrial hygiene. Think outside the box, and maybe it might not be only in Ghana alone. You might get jobs elsewhere, but the most important thing is you prepare yourself. I'm here and I'm working as a consultant as well. I've worked in about 5 African countries. I go to assist them because they're also lacking industrial hygienists in their jurisdiction. So it's a gray area. Environment has taken the lead. Safety has taken the lead. Now we have to make sure that the people who work for us, their health is also protected. We can't allow our people to work without ensuring that their health is being protected. So if you want to go into industrial and occupational health, what I will suggest you do is kindly find time, do a bit of research, learn about the profession, understand what the profession is all about, develop the interest. Even if you want to start some e-learning and online studies in it, kindly do that. And pretty soon, if there are any job opportunities, I bet you are going to grab it and you'll be having some smiling face all over. So there's opportunity out there. All what I would say is that there's opportunity out there, but how prepared are we to grab such opportunities when it comes? But it all starts with an interest, and it all starts with developing yourself to be able to get some of these opportunities. That's what I will have for them. Just get research, do more work on it, understand it, develop the interest, and make sure that you prepare yourself academically. Okay, if you
Academically.
have to do it, and if you have to do it and find somewhere to go and do attachment and try and get the working experience, you have to do it. You have
Okay.
to do it. And then I'm pretty sure that all this work will not be in vain. You'll be chasing me up there.
Okay, there's a question on Zoom. Are there manufacturing companies in Ghana giving on-site training in industry safety and hygiene?
Are they what?
Are there manufacturing companies in Ghana giving on-site training in industry safety and hygiene? I think he was trying to say in industrial safety or
Hygiene. Is it talking about a training, a company giving training,
training
or
to.
talking about attachment or what? Because talking about on-site training in industry, is it looking at companies giving opportunity for people to do internship, or is he talking about, do we have a training provider in the country that do training on industrial hygiene? Which
Yeah,
is
I think he's trying to ask training given to uh, one who wants to pursue industrial hygiene or career in industrial
okay?
hygiene.
The person said all of the above. So what I'm saying is that uh, a lot of companies who are running occupational health program accept people who wants to do internship. So internship or attachment or in their facility. So for that opportunity is there. And secondary to, we have two training providers in Ghana who are running occupational hygiene models. Some of the models, I do facilitate some of the models because I'm approved a course director and a tutor for some of the models. So some of the models that I was doing it in UK, and now we are doing some in Ghana here. And what we do is that not everybody will be able to get the resources to travel to UK all the time to do models. So we are doing some of the models in Ghana here. So those who want to pursue some of the models, they can still contact me to know when some of the models are coming up. So that it's normally a 5-day course and you write an exams. The exams papers are sent to Faculty of Occupational Hygiene UK. They mark it and you get your results. The certificate and everything comes from UK. And all those courses are recognized worldwide. So you can take it anywhere. So in terms of training on the models, you can get some in Ghana here. And aside that too, you can also get e-learning from American Industrial Hygiene Association website. They have e-learning courses. You can also enroll in some of their courses. We have Boeing. So those who want to do it, you can contact me. I can give you some of the websites that you can go and get some of the e-learning or online classroom courses. But aside that, we have high capacity who provides training in occupational hygiene in Ghana here.
Okay. Another question. What is Ghana's policy on industrial hygiene and and how are and how is the country ensuring that employers and employees are adhering to such policies, if any?
That is one of the challenges that we are having in Ghana here.
Yeah.
We don't have any regulatory what do we call compliance when it comes to industrial and occupational health. As I said, if you come to safety, you get people coming to do safety audits, safety compliance, and all those things. If you come to environment, EPA will be visiting you to make sure that you are compliant to environment. But when it comes to occupational health and when it comes to industrial hygiene, we don't have any regulators who actually conduct an intensive compliance audit on the industries and companies. So it's a challenge to the country. It's a challenge to the country. The only thing that, the only problem too that I think that they might be having is also expertise in that field. Because if the country doesn't have expertise in that field, how would they come to the industries and the companies to enforce compliance? So one of the things that, one of the gaps that we need to close is to government to make sure that it has trained industrial hygienists, occupational health practitioners in some of the agencies that should ensure compliance, then we can use them. But as I rightly said from the beginning, you will get there. We will get there. As soon as the drafted occupational health law is legislated or is passed through the parliament, I've seen a copy of it myself. As soon as it's passed, then we should be able to get people to be going to the industry to ensure that people are complying to industrial hygiene standards and occupational health standards. I think I did a concept paper and I presented to Chamber of Mines some time ago on implementation of industrial hygiene in the country. I think in most of my conferences that I've gone, that I've spoken in Ghana here, Ghana Extractive Industry Safety Conference, I hammer this thing all the time. But once again, if you hammer it, they will understand it. But if the expertise are not there, if we don't have universities that are running the courses to provide to produce industrial hygienists, what is the starting point? Okay, so when you are going to ensure the compliance, you can ensure the compliance, but the thing is that how are you going to ensure it? Somebody is talking about OSHA and MSHA. All of them are in the US. They have industrial hygienists that are working. They go out there for compliance. So they come to your company, they come to your industry. So they show me your hygiene program. When I was in Australia, all the companies are supposed to submit their health and hygiene management plan to the government to review it. So company will be forced to do that. Okay, they come to your company, ask you what you are doing, check your medicals, check all those things. So they have agencies. If you go to UK, they are doing it. US, OSHA compliance, they are doing it. Everybody is doing it because they have the industrial hygienists there to be able to go to the industry and check compliance. And they have the laws, they have the standards, they have the occupational health legislation. So it's easy. But Ghana, we don't have it. We don't have it. But that's why I'm saying that it cannot be like this too forever. We don't have it. So if we start putting, these courses and start training industrial hygienists, we can all come together and put pressure on the government to do some of these things. Currently, we are looking at establishing Ghana Occupational Hygiene Association. I've got the backing from Occupational Hygiene Association, International Occupational Hygiene Association. And if you have a body like this, we can just push the government that, look, it's a high time we get standard. It's a high time we get the law implemented or passed. You know, we can put pressure. We need people to be able to do that. I get it. But if you don't get the people who go through this profession and understand the need for it, one person cannot do everything.
I think I'm having a change of mind. I'll go there.
So as soon as we are able to, we have a WhatsApp group that we set up, Ghana Occupational Hygiene Working Group. We have about 52 members, okay, that we are trying to work through and see how we have a lot of people who are interested, okay, but we are all trying to coach and guide them. If we are in numbers, we can push for some of these things. I swear, if Ghana is able to go through this legislation and this standard thing, it's a milestone. And it also gives opportunity for other people who wants to go into the field. Ask yourself, if you go to our Ghana Statistical Board, or if you go to either the Association of Ghana Industries, go to Chamber of Mines, go to Miriam Commission, ask them to give you a statistics of people who are dying from occupation-related diseases in Ghana. You won't get any statistics. Tell them to give you a statistics on safety, accident, and all those things. You get it. Okay, if somebody even want to do a research in people in Ghana who have suffered from occupation-related diseases and illness, you won't get it. We don't have any records like that. Okay, so if you don't have any record, how can we help the people who are working in our industries in the country? So I think we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
There is another question from Facebook. What is the day-to-day activity undertaken by an occupational hygienist? Thank you.
Day-to-day activity. Okay, so let me give the person an example. Let's say I am working in a metal fabrication industry. Okay, people who are doing welding. They are welding here, they are welding here. I'm an industrial hygienist there. When I go, people are doing cutting, people are doing welding, people are doing gadget, people are doing all those things. When they do it, there is a fumes. You see that black thing that comes when they are welding?
Yeah.
That comes out. This fume, do you know that in 2017, it was classified as a carcinogenic? It can cause cancer. So this fume can cause cancer. And that black fume that is coming, some can contain 17 elements. Some can contain 34 elements, arsenic, sodium, beryllium, all the heavy metals, some contains it. So as an industrial hygienist, I'm just giving an example. You have to know the various chemical composition in all the activities of a welder. Are you getting me? Understand what metals they are welding. Is it aluminum? What is in aluminum? Is it galvanized? What is in galvanized? Is it steel? Is it carbon? So any material that the person works with, you must understand what health consequences the person will subject himself to. All the fumes that are coming, you need to pick them, analyze them at the laboratory, and find out the concentration of all the heavy metals, because some can affect your kidney, some can affect your liver, some can affect your lungs. So in a simple terms, what the occupational hygienist does is that she tries as much as possible to evaluate every work an individual does, and come out with what that the individual can suffer if certain controls are not put in place. And if such controls are not put in place, and he ensures that such controls are implemented, so that that individual who is doing that particular work will not suffer from any work-related disease or illness. If somebody is working in the sun, if somebody is working in a gold room, somebody is working in a kitchen, even the kitchen fumes, the oil from can even cause cancer. You look at the gases, we look at the fumes, we look at the heat to prevent heat-related diseases and heat-related illness. So it cuts across everywhere. Every industry that people are working is the responsibility of the industrial hygienist to assess the health impacts and put in measures to prevent the person from suffering from any health-related conditions.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Gyan. Once again, lovely viewers, if you've not liked or subscribed to our page, kindly do so on Facebook, YouTube, and on LinkedIn. Okay. So looking at how rapidly technology is advancing and how it is affecting some careers, what is your take on the effects, being it positive or negative, of the rapid pace of technology in your field and STEM as a whole?
In terms of technology, technology will always introduce some positives and technology will always introduce some negatives. So in our field, if there are certain work that somebody is doing that might result in certain medical occupational health condition, when there's a technology, that job that the person is doing might be taken over by the technology. But the technology might also introduce some certain health risk. So depending on the type of technology that will be confronted with the profession, there will always be some negative aspect and there will always be the positive aspect. But I think that the positive aspect will weigh more than the negative aspect, because definitely you are going to do away with a lot of health related problems that could have occurred if technology wasn't in place. So definitely there will be the positive will outweigh the negative, but it will still not do away with the risk. Maybe the risk will be minimal, for the risk will be minimal. I've seen Nana
And I'm
suggesting,
not careful.
yes, he was suggesting the real wedding of hygiene. I remember when we did a conference in Philadelphia in 2018, it came up that when people hear of hygiene, all what they think is washing of your hands and all those things. So people actually don't know what the hygiene is all about. So why don't we look at a term that is catchy? Because if you say industrial hygiene, all what comes to the person's hand is washing of hands and all those hygiene things. But it goes beyond that. It's a whole science on its own. So Nana Bekwe, this thing has come out before, but you leave it up to the International Occupational Hygiene Association to come out with a proper rewording of the hygiene so that it will spark some interest. I think the health specialists would do. I mean, industrial health specialist is not bad. Okay, right now I can be a health specialist, because if you come to industrial hygiene, what we do is that those who are doing occupational medicine, the doctors who are doing occupational medicine, they learn a bit of industrial hygiene or occupational hygiene. And some of us who are doing occupational hygiene or industrial hygiene, we learn a bit of occupational medicine. That's the toxicology, epidemiology, all those things, so that we can understand the doctors very well and manage the health of the workers. So having something like industrial health specialist won't be bad at all. Nana Bekwe, I will take your suggestion to South Korea. I think we will have our next conference, International Occupational Society, in South Korea in August. I will discuss it there again. But I think I support you 100%. We need to look at rewording the hygiene.
Okay. Is there any stereotype of female dominance in your field?
Oh yes, in America we have women in industrial hygiene. I mean, it's a very lovely association. So those ladies who are industrial hygiene can be part of that committee. Not Americans alone, everyone across the globe. I mean, so we have a lot of ladies who are in industrial hygiene, and normally those ladies here, you can go and enter women in industrial hygiene. You see a lot of things that they are doing. So there is this kind of diversity. It's gender balance. It's gender balance. So there's no cause for alarm.
Okay, with your experience and the challenges you have had to overcome, how will you narrate to a teenager to convince him or her that it is okay to have higher goals and be able to achieve them?
I think my advice to the teenagers is the desire to pursue your dream career or your vision. Remember that, as I said, when I was doing biologicals, I didn't have any vision of going into occupational health. I was working in the environment and I was so happy with the environment. But as soon as I saw something on health and safety, I said, look, let me do a research and see what it entails. And when I was doing the research, I realized that, hey, there's something called occupational health that is very great. Why don't I redirect my focus there and pursue it? So the commitment, the dedication, the hard work, the studies of going through all this thing, I mean, paid off. Okay, paid off. And I'm who I am right now. I mean, I've done a lot of, I mean, for the first and the second time, I was also able to give some speech, in US, some of our conferences. I never dreamt of getting to that level. I never dreamt of being the first person in Africa to be certified industrial hygienist, because I never even heard of any industrial hygiene anywhere. But when I read about it, I developed the interest. I didn't let it go. I worked towards it. Okay, so it's all about the desire, the commitment, the hard work, to make sure that you get what you have to get. And I can assure you that when I was doing all those things, I hadn't done my master's. I just told myself that, look, after first degree, then I went to occupational health. I said, look, let me work on my professional career before I even come and talk about master's. Because right now in this world, the professional certifications actually weighs a lot. So I spent almost, I think, about 6 to 7 years to be certified. And after I got my certification, then I decided to do my master's. And then I had a career already, and I was a certified industrial hygienist, so I was relaxed. And I started working on my master's. So exactly. So it was just a vision that I had. A look, I want to go through it and I become certified, get a career, get a profession before I go to. But some people already can have their profession already. You know, a lot of people are doing courses that is easy for them to get their profession, even in Ghana here. But some of us, we needed to do a bit of traveling. So the advice is that we need to, it's a gray area. There's opportunities there. We need to try as much as possible to develop interest in also protecting the health of our workers. Look, if we don't have a healthy workforce in the country, then we can't run the country. If all our workers are going to be sick and to be die, and bear in mind that occupational related diseases, majority of them, about 80% of them is irreversible. So when you get it, you die with it. You can't get any medicine, anything that will bring you back. Occupational related diseases are irreversible. About 80% of them, when you get it, you will live with it and you will die with it. You can't reverse it. So it tells you how critical it is. If somebody gets it, then the person is dying. So we need to try as much as possible to develop that interest of protecting the health of our workers. But it all starts from us. So the young ones, please, some of us will be here to guide you and to mentor you, those who want to go into the field of occupational hygiene. So that very soon in Africa or in Ghana, you have a lot. You have a lot. I have one guy that I mentored. He was a nurse. He started as a nurse. He came to me that he wanted to do occupational hygiene. I guided him. I mentored him. And right now, he's working in Guinea. He was working here as a nurse. He has done go to the occupational hygiene. And the next opportunity he got is in Guinea. He's looking at Guinea, Tanzania, and Ghana. So wow. He just moved to be a certified. Now he's a regional and continental industrial hygienist for Anglo Ashanti. And now he's in Guinea, go to Tanzania, and he comes to Ghana. So you can start from anywhere. All what you need is the interest, the desire, and the commitment to work hard and study hard for the program.
Okay. So how can one contact you for any guidance or even if they want to work with you?
Okay, so I will leave my email, my contacts, numbers, and everything with you so that you can always make it available to anyone who needs further guidance or assistance in the field.
Okay. Thank you. There is another question. So please, how fast are we going to help Ghana to have our own standard concerning the occupational hygiene? From Iga. Okay, that's from Facebook.
This is a difficult question because this one needs to go through the politics. The politicians that need to pass this law in Parliament. We got some few occupational medical practitioners who decided to put this occupational health legislation together. We decided to put this occupational health standards together to be passed, to be legislated in Parliament. So it will just take pressure from maybe advocacy groups to take some pressure from some outsiders to push for it to be passed out in Parliament or legislated for us to use. So we need to put pressure. But me for instance, my strength is very small. My strength is very small. So you need to get politicians who are so much interested in protecting the health of our workers to champion some of this cause. As I said, if we have we are looking at putting up, establishing this Ghana Occupational Hygiene Association. If we are able to do it by next year, probably we can pay a courtesy visit to Minister of Employment. We can pay a courtesy visit to Minister for Health. Then we can discuss workers' health issues with Minister for Health. Then we can come back to Minister for Employment and the Labor Department and all those things. Then we can also discuss with them how best that occupational health law can help protect the health of the workers. Then if there's a need for us to lobby through International Labour Organization or World Health Organization, we can also lobby through them. If we lobby through them, maybe because Ghana, World Health Organization is everywhere, probably they can put some pressure, on us. So, but we first need to set up the association, a recognized one. If we are able to get from what we've met all the criteria for us to establish it. So we hope that latest by March, we'll be able to set up that association. Now, as soon as we set it up and it's recognized, we can reach ILO, we can reach World Health Organization, we can reach Minister of Health, we can reach Minister of Employment or Labor. Then we can start the lobbying from there. So we'll work it out. We will not leave it as it is. We will definitely work through it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Gyan, for today's interaction. And lovely viewers, thank you all. Thank you for listening and watching us today. I hope you've learned a lot because I have. And I'm thinking of changing my career pattern to industrial hygienist and grab the opportunities there. Yeah. Okay. So if you joined us on Zoom, please stay on the line. Our host would like to talk with you. And if you joined us on Facebook, then it's bye-bye to you. See you on our next edition. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.